I'm joined in the studio now by Peter Hakim. He's President Emeritus and a Senior Fellow at the Inter-American Dialogue, a think tank focusing on public policy in Latin America. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Might we look at the key policies separating these two candidates?
Well, you have to start with that Bolsonaro, as we've just heard, is really a very fringe candidate on the extreme. No one would have thought that it would be possible for him to ever be a candidate that would actually become president. It was only because of the basically dire situation that Brazil finds itself with, an economy flat on its back, with a country that no longer believes, the voters no longer believe in the country's institutions, massive corruption scandals. In other words, Haddad is a much more centrist candidate, center-left to be sure, mayor of São Paulo, who's a pretty good mayor, introduced bicycles to São Paulo. No, one was part of the center governing parties in Brazil. Bolsonaro was a man of the extreme.
It is said that a vote for Haddad is a vote for Lula da Silva, the now jailed former president, and that Lula would control Haddad if he were to win. How much might that have played in the campaign?
Oh, I think that was central to Haddad's. He's not a great charismatic person. He didn't have a great agenda, and when Lula selected him as being the candidate of his party, Lula's a man who left the presidency with 90% approval rating. He immediately became a candidate, a serious contender. And whether Lula would actually have controlled him, I think not. I think that he probably would have begun to manage it himself. You always talk about being controlled by somebody else, but no, it's hard to know. Lula, an amazing person. Here he is, half the country wants him to be president, the other half wants to keep him in jail.
Can I talk about BRICS? Brazil is a founder member of BRICS. You know, China is a founder member as well. Bolsonaro has been rather rude to China, in fact, in the course of this campaign regarding BRICS. Do you think that if he is elected tomorrow, he will turn inward or try to turn inward in the way that President Trump tries to turn inward, puts America first? In other words, what is the future for BRICS if he wins?
Well, I think that BRICS has sort of had difficulties over time and hasn't proven as important a set of institutions as one would have expected. It's really, the BRICS is China and 4 other countries. China is the core of it. China keeps it going because of China's own ambitions. And I think Bolsonaro is clearly a person who has no experience in foreign affairs, has no real strong views about foreign affairs, is a person who sort of is focused on Brazil. I want to change Brazil.
Finally, what about the issue of corruption? Corruption is rife in Brazil. Will the new president, whoever it may be able to get a grip on corruption?
It's going to take a long time to get a grip. I mean, you know, like someone once said about the Mexican politics, it's true about Brazil, is that corruption is not a problem for the political system. It is the political system.
Well, all to play for, I think, tomorrow. According to Lucretia, we could still have an upset, potentially. We'll see what happens.
Mathematics is not very good on that. Very clear that I think that Bolsonaro is going to win and win big.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Peter Hakim.